All right, welcome to Buddy Book Club. Thanks for joining the club. I'm Dylan, here with my buddy Keith to break down some bestsellers. This week, we're continuing our Summer Beach Reads series with actually a brand new bestseller by Laura Dave. The book is The Last Thing He Told Me. And this was released, I think, like May, right, Keith?
Yeah, pretty recently, right?
It's currently, by recording day, it's August 3rd. So, yeah, this is like 3 months old. Will be the most recent book from publication to pod that we will probably ever do. But it came with, a lot of accolades. It is indeed a New York Times bestseller. It's on the Reese Witherspoon book club list, which we are avid fans of. And if you'd like to reach out to us regarding this book or any of our past or future episodes, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, or slide into our DMs on Twitter or Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes and Spotify, so please download and subscribe. And it seems like people have been downloading, which I am completely ecstatic and humbled by. So thank you. I appreciate you guys listening. We hope you enjoy the show. And if you want to, expose yourself as a listener, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
First of all, can we talk about humbled? I have a big gripe with the term humbled, meaning honored. Humbled is not honored. Humbled is the opposite of honored. Unless you're saying you're embarrassed because we should have bigger numbers. And then I understand humbled.
No, I'm humbled the fact that one person would listen. You know what I mean?
But that's honored.
I'm not honored. I'm humbled by the fact that someone would want to hear us talk about books.
You can't have a word that means the exact opposite of the word. It doesn't make sense. I'm already getting antsy. I think this is gonna be the theme of the pod today.
Okay, well let's.
Can we clear this up first?
I don't think so.
Humbled means basically embarrassed, right?
Why don't you Google it? Why don't you Google it and get us an exact definition of humbled?
The opposite of that, it would be honored, right?
Humbled doesn't mean embarrassed. A synonym for humbled, embarrassed, and humbled isn't the same thing.
Humbled. Definition: lower someone in dignity or importance. So that's embarrassed. That's exactly what it is. Humiliate, abase, demean, belittle, lower, degrade. That's actually worse than embarrassed. All right, sorry, we can get into the book, but I just need to clear that up.
You know what? I know you want to hear it. You're right, because you can mansplain that to me as much as you want, but you're right.
God damn it. Yeah, fair enough.
So let's get to the last thing you told me. Okay. I figure this is pretty much this book. We're going to go through a quick summary first. This book is pretty much National Treasure meets the movie Stepmom, with Susan Sarandon and Julia Roberts. Except instead of Knights Templar artifacts and Founding Father heirlooms, they're looking for a pub in Texas. So it all focuses around eventually finding a bar, which is the point of this whole thing, I guess. It's two characters, Hannah and Bailey, basically going after trying to find Bailey's dad, Hannah's husband, Owen, who has done kind of an Enron scandal type thing and disappeared. But he didn't disappear because of the Enron scandal thing. He disappeared because of past transactions in his life, I guess, between him and his father-in-law. And that's pretty much the story. There's nothing else. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, that's on point.
So we like to start off with a libation before the pod, and this time we're really going to need it. Usually it's based on something referenced in the novel itself. Last book, Ender's Game, we kind of had a blank because they're kids. They don't booze up. Although in the body they did, but here we are. There's tons of references to different cocktails in this book and different liquors, but I feel like this podcast, I'm the guy who walks into the bar right before closing and the bartender's like wiping down the counter and he's like, sorry, we're closed. But then he looks at you and he sees you're dejected, tie half on, just head down. Maybe it's raining out and you're just covered. And you're like, oh, no problem. And you start to walk out. He's like, hey, buddy, come on in. And you sit down, kind of fall into the bar stool. And he's like, what can I get you? And you say, what's the strongest thing you got? So that's what I'm going for in this pod. Yeah. If I had some 151, I'd be drinking it right now out of the bottle because Good God, I need some catharsis here.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I'm not that much of a degenerate. I'm going back to the stable. You're having a nice little Truly, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Hell, here we go. So everyone else, grab whatever you got. But I will tell you, if you're a huge fan of this book, you should probably turn us off right now. Just because I don't think this is going to go the way you want it. This is probably going to be more of a thrill ride than what was presented to us by Laura Dave.
I like how you're like, I don't feel like shitting on the book, and then literally within the first, you're humbling the book, to be fair. You are humbling the book.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that people weren't like sitting there getting excited about, this is my favorite book. And also, if those people exist out there, shame on you. Shame.
I'm not going to go that far.
So let's start off with favorite scene. Keith, what did you like most about this book?
The woodworking stuff, I thought. I mean, this one was hard to grasp, to be honest with you. The woodworking stuff was the favorite scene. I just liked her. I thought it was an original job for someone to have. I thought it was really interesting, her relationship with her grandfather. I thought that was a nice thing. I also did really love the double entendre stuff that was going on, which there was clearly a lot of double entendres.
I did not pick up on that.
At the end of the book, for whatever reason, they add that scene in with her talking about woodworking, which at this point the book's over, and they add this scene in, and she says, "It all starts with a good piece of wood. I play with a lot of different wood." This is all like in this quote. Good wood is always defined by one thing. That's what my grandfather told me.
Oh my
God! There's a lot of double entendre going on.
It's funny. Maybe it was from you listening to the book and me reading it, but I did not pick up on that whatsoever. Did she do it in that sultry tone you just gave too?
I actually had to speed it up because she kind of is a very slow and...
How long was the audiobook?
9 hours. You probably read it much quicker than that, I
Yeah,
assume.
for sure. I mean, I read this book, I think, in 2 sittings. So my favorite scene, I think, was pretty much right at the beginning when Owen disappears and, like, she gets the letter, which is, like, I think the first 2 pages or something. Protect her.
Yeah.
You know? That was when I was like, okay, this book might be something. Because I had only read 100 words, and then the next 10,000, 30,000 were fucking trash. But it just was like, it was an interesting premise, and like, okay, I get it. This chick is the stepmom here. There's Bailey, the daughter. They obviously don't have a great relationship, and something, they're going to have to work together for something. This is going to be interesting. So, it had an opportunity, is what I'm saying. And there was a point where I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be fun. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. And also, like, who is her? And they did do a good job, or Lord Dave did do a good job at the beginning to be like, wait, when he meant her, did he mean Bailey? Or did he mean my friend who might know information about this? So it left some level of suspense right there. But just like a match in the wind.
Nice. I like that. This didn't actually happen, but the last scene, I don't know if you got this aspect too, but the last scene, it's this really drawn out scene on the airplane. And it's like them taxiing and then like them kind of start to speed up. And ultimately the reason that they're like slow playing this last scene for some reason is just like the fact that Bailey rests her head on Hannah's shoulder. And I was like, wait, that's it? I thought there was something going to happen. I really, really wanted the plane to blow up, and Nicholas bombed the plane, and I was like, holy shit, are they going to blow this plane up? And they're like, I was going to like the book if that happened. That actually would have been a great ending. And they're like, don't trust Nicholas, and the plane blows up. Yeah. Too dark?
No, not dark enough.
That would
not
be a great
dark
ending,
enough.
right?
So that was your favorite scene because of the anticipation. It is funny because so little happens in this book that at the end, I was really waiting for like kind of a crazy thing to happen, Yeah. One of those things you never expect in a movie or a book that's like, oh, what was I watching the other day? Oh, Layer Cake. Have you seen Layer Cake? Daniel Craig movie. Spoiler alert, so turn it off here if you haven't seen it. Great movie, by the way. Or good movie. But Daniel Craig is on top of the world and then gets just shot at the end. It's like, oh, holy smokes. Like, I didn't see that coming. Or that I Care a Lot movie on Netflix. Also pretty good. But similar stuff, like just one of those things that at the end it's like, oh, well, okay. I appreciate that this author, screenwriter, whatever, just kind of went for it. I did think there was that potential, but unfortunately not. So here we are. I appreciate that favorite scene, though. Thank you. I wish they had written that in. Michael Bay just to do the last scene.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into stock up, stock down. A lot of socks to buy. Some are falling, some are rising. But what do you have for stock up?
Stock up, I had piggy banks.
Oh.
So, yeah, apparently this is a good place to keep your will. Did not realize that. Instead of the old conventional way of, going to a lawyer. The best way to do it is to hide it into some toy that your daughter once had that you would never have told anyone about had Hannah not walked down and saw him with it at the bar. Because otherwise there'd be literally zero reason for that piggy bank to be looked in, right? That'd never be looked in. Other than the fact that she walked down and saw him with it. That's the only reason. She wasn't supposed to see him. So, piggy banks?
Also, I mean, I didn't even have this as an unanswerable question, but it is now. Did Bailey never use this piggy bank? A piggy bank, you take it, even like I'd go to a friend's house who had a piggy bank when we were little kids. I never had one, so I thought they were interesting. You shake it and you hear change in there. But this piggy bank has a steel safe in it. So it's like, A, it's very heavy. And then B, there's like, if you try to put a quarter in, it only goes halfway in. It's like, oh, this piggy bank sucks.
I mean, that's why the piggy bank stocks up, kid. That's why. It's a great piggy bank. Didn't even know.
Bailey never tried to use her own piggy bank because there was a safe in it?
Well, she's like 16 now. I assume she's not using it, which is why, obviously, it doesn't make sense that anyone would even open it. But
yeah. Okay. I could dig it. Stock up. Well, kind of to your favorite scene stuff, wood turning. The idea of not only that someone's profession is a wood turner, which is awesome, by the way, but the idea that wood turning has 10 million videos on YouTube. I went down a wood turning black hole on YouTube and enjoyed every minute of it. It's just really enjoyable to watch someone with a lathe cutting down like a raw piece of wood into a bowl or into a table, whatever the case is. It was super therapeutic. And especially after reading this book, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I need. So deep dive on that YouTube stuff. I almost wanted to like get a lathe and go through that thing. It seemed pretty cool. You just get a chisel, you let that thing spin, you turn some stuff out of it. Awesome. So Hannah, good for you on that profession. And props to your grandfather for teaching you, because wood turning, stock up. I'm there. And in this mass-produced society that we're living in, having an artisanal bowl that, someone made by hand is definitely something that I think will be going on in the future. So I'm buying it. You have anything else for stock up?
Stock up, thinking your job is important. This is kind of where the book immediately started to lose me, to be honest with you. So
I want you to be honest with
me. Apparently white-collar crimes elicit day of in-person visits. Like with some murder they're trying to investigate, she gets visited by two people immediately because her husband's missing, and it's a white-collar crime.
Okay, so you're talking about Grady, or who's that? Gary? Grady?
Yeah, Grady, and then the other two people that we don't
So Grady would
again.
Make more sense because
he would make sense.
But the FBI agents doesn't make much sense.
Right. It should be a major red flag that Grady visits, but then two other people immediately visit. So I was like, oh, I guess white collar crime is really important, and people are, I don't know. And then throughout the whole town, people are looking at them weird. I don't know what anyone else does in my town. I didn't know what any of their dads did when I kind of what they did, but no one would fucking know the coder of a social media company, whether that social media company just like went into business or did some shady shit. No one would give a shit. No one would care. No one would look at you weird in school. That didn't make any sense to me. Can you name one Enron employee? Can you name one person that went to jail? Can you name anything about Enron?
I can.
That was the biggest.
Mr. Enron.
That was the biggest scam like in U.S. history, and the reason it was so big is because there were so many people that they had hired. This company just IPO'd, so I assume it's not really that big of a company comparatively. It just didn't make any sense. So like thinking that like someone coder at a company would be that important and people would really care that much. Stock up for thinking your job's important.
I mean,
I guess it is important. I guess that is. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm
an idiot. It went stock down, but I will give play devil's advocate here and give Laura Dave some credit. She did say that it was like a very small community that they were part of, and everyone was familiar with each other and, spent time together. So the idea that, they would know what Owen did is not super surprising, considering that it was like on the radio and whatnot. It's like, oh, isn't that company? But I don't know if they'd be side-eyeing her and stuff like that, but whatever.
Right.
That is what it is.
If you went into your high school and some dad was part of some company, would you even give a shit? No, you wouldn't care.
No, not at all. Which also leads to like later on when the idea of Owen protecting Bailey because like she doesn't know, or like so people don't know, like her grandfather was the lawyer for some mafia people. It's like, who cares? Like, what?
Yeah, it's a lawyer.
Yeah. So her grandfather's the Sean Penn character in Carlito's Way. Who cares? Like, I don't, you know?
Yeah, right.
So that made no sense. But I'm not sure about stock up on
Well, I guess I'm saying, like, I never think my job's that important, but apparently it could be. Like, if our company just, like, goes under and a bunch of stockholders
some crazy shit goes down,
get shit on, or people are gonna be like, what the fuck, man? I'll be like, oh shit, you knew I worked there? Like, nice. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of important all of a sudden. So,
all right,
hey,
I dig it.
What? Stock up. Yeah, thank you.
Stock up for me. Houseboats. Seems pretty cool.
Go on.
Like, I didn't know there was this community of houseboats in Sausalito where people just live on their boat. And, you know, RVing is a thing. People are really jazzed about RVing these days. But I don't hear a lot of houseboat talk. And as someone who's currently residing on a lake, I was thinking about how cool it would be if instead of buying a house, you just bought a houseboat and just lived on the lake. It's like best of both worlds. You don't have to, you're off the grid. And I mean like the grid of the government tracking you according to this book, because for some reason they can't track you if you're on a houseboat because it's like a rental or something, quote unquote. But it just seems like you wake up, you see the water in the morning. You don't have to pay these huge property taxes. Don't have a lot of space to clean.
My question is, have you not seen The Replacements?
Oh, I have seen The Replacements for sure.
Keanu lives in a houseboat. Miles and miles apart, kid. You gotta, come on. The stock for houseboats have been way up since Keanu did.
Why can I not think of what his character's name is in that? Because it's a great name.
Let me see.
Falco. Shane Falco.
Oh, Shane Falco.
Got it before you said it. Dang. Nice.
That was good. Nicely done.
Yeah. His job is scrubbing barnacles off the bottom of boats. So it would be interesting. And I have a question. This is probably the most important question of this podcast. Is The Replacements and Point Break in the same universe?
Oh, universe? I've heard that before. Did he blow the game in
No, it was a different story. He
Break?
like blew out his shoulder at USC or something, or Ohio State. But in the other one, he blew the game. But, you know, confusion could happen.
I can see it. I can see that, yeah. It's not the worst. It's not the worst parallel
Yeah, so
universe.
after he lets Bodhi go, you know, they don't know Bodhi actually dies, so they have to put him in some sort of witness protection, so they leave him on some houseboat. And then he does exactly what Owen does in this book and says, oh, you know what, instead of staying under the radar, I'm going to get a high-profile gig and see what happens.
Yep, I have a bunch on this.
Yeah,
but...
later. Save it. My last stock up, foodstuffs, just things in general, you know, I like my food. But
yeah,
this is a good book for this California restaurant scene. LA's Felix. I think it's Bar Felix or Restaurant Felix or whatever. Super famous-y now. Actually, recently opened, like maybe in the last couple of years. Italian joint. Evan Funke is the head chef there. They dropped that name. It was like Hannah and Bailey went to dinner there, and Bailey was like being a snob or a little brat. It's like,
really? What? That's weird.
but it was like, you're at literally one of the nicest places. Like, this guy makes pasta by hand in a cage, and you get to watch him. Also a great YouTube video. It's kind of like a cage, glass cage, but great YouTube video. Bon Appetit, I think, does it. He makes like 26 pastas and shows you how to do it. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. Although the guy seems like kind of a dick. But so Felix, that's on there. Bouchon, they reference that with whatever the Avit's wife. She's like, oh, I didn't get my roast chicken and chocolate souffle from Bouchon. That's Thomas Keller's secondary joint. Thomas Keller, maybe like the most famous chef in America, so good name drop there. And then some issues. One, Hannah can't brown butter. That's pretty sad. You go to all these hips. You go to all these.
I like how
hip
every
spots.
pod has some sort of cooking
But you
shit
go to
on.
all these hip spots. You can't brown butter. Like it really takes no effort. So shame on you. And
What do you do to brown butter for our
you
listeners?
put butter in a pan and cook it, stirring constantly. Like literally couldn't.
That's way harder than that. Wow, Jesus.
I mean, you have to like know when it's browned before it's burnt. You know, you take it off the heat before it's burnt.
Okay.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, if they're going to places like this, I feel like they're foodie people. So get it together. And also the reference that Owen can make a 10-layer chocolate cake. I have so many questions. One, why? Like, why are you?
I look at this as what you're.
Why are you making a 10-layer chocolate cake? It seems
It's decadent.
so unnecessary. But is it a crepe cake? Like, because if it's a regular sponge cake, why are you cutting a cake into 10 layers for?
Because it's more frosting.
For what? You just add more to the outside.
frosting.
But it's so much effort that there must be a huge occasion. So did she see him do it once and it was good? Also,
It's an analogy for him. Think about that. He is 10 layers to him. It's deep. You don't just don't understand.
I never read between
you
the
just don't
lines.
understand the deep. Yeah, you're a too literal guy.
I go on top. You know, I float on top,
Yeah.
like fat on top of a stock. But yeah, so that bothered me. The 10-layer cake thing is like, Owen can make a 10-layer cake. It's like, okay, why, what, when, who, how many times has he done this? How thick was this cake? Even a wedding cake's like, 3 layers, 4 layers, whatever. So yeah, food stuff, stock up, but Owen's cake making ability, stock down.
Prize entrances, stock down.
Oh,
I really, really was upset when Grady was just like sitting on her porch, and it shows up and she says, "You must be Hannah." Like, if someone did that on my porch, I don't give a shit what they say after that. I literally hate the person. I just absolutely hate. Like, you can't go to someone's porch and just presume you know the person unless you're about to like hand them some money. Just a dickhead move all around by Grady. And then the other cops do the same thing in her backyard. Just walk in, and they're just like in her backyard. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, you must be Hannah." It's like, hey, who the fuck are you? Like, what are you in my backyard? Like, how about we start with that? Just common courtesy. It's really upset me. I'm sorry, but like, you can't do this shit. And then she goes and gets coffee with this dude. There's zero chance of going to get coffee with him. Just zero. I'm not going anywhere with you, bud. Go take your fucking fake ass badge. Get out of here. For the story's sake, he should have not been a cop. It would have made things actually better. But
yeah, it would have been better if he was Charlie. If he was like him and he was in with the family, but like couldn't be clear on who he was because he didn't want her to find out.
yeah,
That would have been. Also, this Grady character like wears a backwards hat and like a bomber jacket or something, and he's a U.S. Marshal. I'm just so confused by that. He's like, who's the guy from The Matrix that's in the Fugitive movies?
I was just gonna say, quote the Fugitive. Yeah, I mean, the only U.S. Marshals I know are from Fugitive and the movie.
Yeah, which also I do appreciate that was referenced in the book. Like, hey, the only U.S. Marshals I know are like from The Fugitive, which is a phenomenal.
Oh,
movie.
did they? I didn't realize that. All right, great reference. Great reference.
Phenomenal movie and a really good sequel considering how good the movie
it was. Really good.
Yeah, Joe Pantoliano, the guy from The Matrix who turns on them. Whatever. The point is, he seems like the kind of guy who would like wear a backwards hat and a varsity jacket and walk around to be a U.S. Marshal. Which is, this guy was like, "Hey, get the fuck off my porch." And if I saw someone like that, I'd assume I was just getting served papers. Like it was someone was like summoning me to court.
And you'd still be pissed at that person.
I
Also,
definitely wouldn't be
either
like,
way.
"I'll get a coffee."
Yeah. So stock down on that. Fuck surprise entrances.
Stuck down for me. Besides literally everything, I'm gonna go with trusting your significant other. There was red flags all over the place. And the fact that she was so blown away by the fact that he had a past besides the one that he had told her about, it was so shocking to me how shocking it was to her. You know what I'm saying?
No, explain, please.
So they're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has no family to speak of. No family whatsoever at all. Nobody. Okay? Not absurd, but definitely questionable. No friends? No friends from his past. He's got friends from since you guys have met, really, but no friends from his past. Makes zero sense.
Well, he did just move there, right? Or he's moved
no
out there,
reference to friend. No, like, hey, this guy's coming to visit. We should go here. We're married. Like, we're going to visit my friends. And then, probably most importantly, Bailey's mom's family is just non-existent. Wouldn't her, even though her mom's dead, wouldn't her family like want to see her, like holidays and stuff? It's like, okay, Bailey's going to go to her grandparents on her mom's side for these holidays, you know, just to hang out. Nope. At no point been concerned that you've never seen or heard from anyone from 10 years ago, like 10 years or more in his life. It never rung a bell. And then every time like these things come up for her, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I never thought about that. Or they just do these like smash cuts to like in the book to 2 years ago. And it'd be a situation where someone came to him and said something weird and she would not find that to be odd. I mean, put 2 and 2 together here, Hannah. It doesn't take a genius to just be confused that his past doesn't come together in the way that he's, you know, said it to you.
I will say Owen did a great job with the whole I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, sounding very, very similar to Austin. If you've seen Road Trip.
Yep, Austin, Boston.
Yeah, Austin, Boston. I was at certain times because I was listening to it. I was like, wait, what did you just say? Is he from Boston or Austin? And I was like, oh, Owen, smart.
Yeah,
that's an easy out right there. No, I've always been saying Austin. I didn't say Boston. What are you talking about?
But she could have asked him. You know, she could have asked him very specifically. He went to Newton. She'd be like, "Did you go to Newton North or Newton South?"
Well, people aren't going to know.
Oh, you know, she could.
Yeah, I guess that's how you right away.
This
yeah,
book
right.
would work in a non-technology age, but if you think some woman is meeting a guy and not Googling his name or anything along those lines, you're crazy. Plus, everyone has social media. Even if he didn't have social media, there's still some sort of a paper trail. And if you didn't find one, that would raise red flags immediately.
Well, she's also a recluse, also herself, right? She doesn't have much family. So she was just probably willing to accept it. She's just ready to, oh, this guy is just like me, you know?
Yeah, it would just, the fact that he would never see a friend or family member would be very odd to me. And also, that's something in someone else that you're attracted to. At least for me, it's a total deal breaker if they don't have friends. Like, what? You just like one of those people that doesn't have any friends? That's confusing, and see you later, because I don't trust those people.
Fair enough.
Stock down. Yeah, that.
I also had trust as stock down. So we're on the same page.
We
here.
trust each other. That's what matters.
Yeah. A couple you missed, though. One is that she continuously was like, I don't know if I should trust this person, and then would do something that would completely ruin her life if she didn't trust the person. For instance, she tells Grady that she's hiding $600K plus in cash in her cabinet. Literally the next sentence is, I'm not sure if I should trust this guy. You just implemented yourself in implicated. What did I say? Implicated herself in literally if that money's not clean, then
yeah, federal crime for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. You're going to prison if you're hiding 600, and nobody just holds around cash for no reason, right? Like there's something sketchy going on. So just doing that alone, and then you say you don't trust the guy. I'm like, why the fuck did you tell him about the cash then? And also the lawyer, her ex-husband, who she probably just should have stayed with, tells her to move the cash because that's literally the only thing that would send her to prison. And she's like, nah, I'll just keep it there. She doesn't do anything after that's the one thing he told her to do. So trusting the wrong people, and then
wouldn't the FBI? Sorry to interrupt you. Wouldn't the FBI on your rant? We're just ranting. I hope people. I feel bad for listeners here. It's like I don't want to hear this two people rant, but I'm sorry. But I'm sorry for Laura Dave. I'm sorry that this is happening. It's not our fault. We try to listen and read books that everyone enjoys, and sometimes we don't have hits, and we're going to tell you how we feel.
We do. To be fair, we rant and shit on our books we like as well. So it's not, we're equal opportunity employers.
We're equal opportunity ranters. But
yeah.
Wouldn't the FBI have a search warrant for their houseboat to get his hard drives and stuff like that? And it would probably involve them being able to search the premises. Like, I don't know. I've seen a couple movies in my day. The first thing I would do would be, I wouldn't touch and count the money with my hands so that you'd have fingerprints all over it. But I understand how you could do that in a moment of stress.
Yeah.
But then I would 1,000,000% give that money to my best friend or whatever and say, hey, can you hold on? I know this is super sketchy, but I don't know what's happening right now, and this can't be in my house.
Right. Yeah.
I live in a houseboat. There's 4 rooms. It's under the sink. Fucking hide it.
All of this shit would go down before it got released to the public. They'd already be arresting or investigating people. All this shit. It wouldn't be like the media leaked it and then all of a sudden an investigation starts. You know, that wouldn't work like that. So they'd already have gone through all these people's houses by then before it even became
warrants would have came down. I understand that he might have gotten away quicker, but because of the he knew the leak, but his house would have been searched. She would have. Those FBI agents would have, and they do. I don't know how the FBI works, but I feel like they would have had probable cause or whatever it is to get a warrant from a judge to say, I can search this guy's house, because you want to get all of his files before he deletes them. It's crazy. Yeah. What else you got?
I had trade deadline mistakes stopped down just because baseball season's around here. I mean, here's the trade that essentially he makes, or as Bailey I guess would make, is are you willing to either never see your dad again but live your normal life, quote unquote, in your hometown with your stepmom, or just move again with your dad and be with your dad instead of being with some random stepmom? And then I guess the $600K throws a variable into there, but whatever. But like, I don't understand how protecting her would be making her start a whole new life with a random fucking person that she doesn't like. How's that a good trade for her? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I will say, as a product of divorce and someone that has a stepmom and a father, I would probably just be like, hey, let's just stay together. Like, whatever, work in a machine shop. I'd like everyone to be together. It's nothing against the stepmom. It's just like, I'd rather it be, us be together than have some money and you advance your career. But I guess there's more important things in life.
Listen, D-Man, this is under my hates, but...
No, save it, because I got hates. I got hate for days. This is the Chappelle Show Haters Ball coming up, all right? So if you didn't like the rants in the first half, get ready for the next. Let's pick a character. I mean, there's lovable characters, and there's hateable characters, many. But who did you at least get some sort of relationship with in this book?
I think this one is the easiest pick I've ever had. The best character of this book is Owen, for sure. First, they describe him as Owen Wilson. Blonde hair, goofy, just living life, good-looking dude. Great. We love that. And he's just the smartest person in the book because he abandons Bailey, who's the absolute worst person in any book I've ever read. So he gets rid of Bailey, gets to start a whole new life. That's a win-win for everyone, right? That's just a great move by him. And just to go into Bailey a little bit more. So, not to make light of abandoning children.
That's an Uno reverse card that you read about. The whole thing is how much he loves Bailey, but really he just hates her, and she thinks she's a total bitch.
Absolutely hates her. Bailey is literally, and this is more of a negative, but Bailey's just mean to literally every single person. Talks down to everyone. Shits all over Hannah for no reason for like 2 years. And then runs away in the most pivotal point of the book for no reason. 0 reason.
Just can't take it. Just leaves. Leaves.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No reason. So again, it's an ultimately smart move by Owen. Gets rid of his parenting responsibilities. Doesn't have to fucking raise that nightmare anymore. Yeah, it was just a great job. A couple more things about Owen, which are great, is that he says his biggest strength as a person is that he'd do anything for his daughter. Except, I obviously quit his job, that's running a scam, which he's going to get caught for. Or, not just lay low a little bit. But yeah, everything else he would do for his daughter.
I'm having such a tough time responding because I have it later and I don't want to get into it too early. I don't want to pop the chair.
One more thing is that Owen is this really, really smart mathematician that works hard, which we'd love to see.
Good job.
The thing is, though, that he writes code initially for a lawyer that's untraceable or something like that. I couldn't really understand what's going on, which I don't think you can turn over communications between lawyers and your client to the government. But
nope.
What do I know about that shit?
You can't.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Definitely can't. Although if they were involved in illegal activity, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I do know a couple things, and the one thing I know is if they are involved in illegal activity, you know, they could get that information. So
Okay.
if he was
We'll
actually
allow that.
like passing notes that were, you know, for hits and stuff like that, I don't even know why they'd write it down. Like a good lawyer, if this guy's
Yeah,
the best
it
lawyer,
doesn't make any sense.
it wouldn't
Yeah.
be something, okay, let us track all the notes that are sent between these people.
Right.
Unless he was trying to create like some sort of backup in case the mafia turned on him, he would have some information. But it didn't seem like that was the case. He was just like, all right, this is proper way to take notes, so I'm just going to encrypt it.
And then the last thing is they talk about how he's a mathematician and he wanted to choose a job that was slightly different than math. Although they just talk about there how he's a coder that creates code that makes it hard to track people or track messages. And then he joins a company, a social media company that he codes for that makes it hard to track messages. Like, how are they not connecting the dots here? They're exactly the same job.
Plus, what happens when this company actually gets IPO'd and then
Right. Then they release all the people's names.
Well, it's not his name, but at the same time, it's one of those things like if it's a company, you're going to have a face on a website. Isn't that the
Right,
point?
especially if he's that important. Yeah.
He's the number one, he's the head coder or whatever. Like, isn't
Right.
that...
He could have quit it at any time.
Yeah,
It doesn't
we're going to
make
get into
any
that.
sense.
Okay, so you like Owen even though, just for leaving Bailey because she's miserable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bailey, when she finds out that her whole life is a lie, she's like, so my birthday isn't even right? My birthday? Your dad's missing. Like, what are we doing here? My birthday isn't even right? God. All right, sorry.
I'm a Scorpio. I'm not a Libra. What's my moon sign? My favorite character was fuck this book. Let's get into love hate.
You didn't have it.
No, I thought my favorite character was really like Hannah's friend, who seemed like the most normal of all the people
I had thought for sure she was going to turn out to be,
involved in it.
you know, a double
Yeah,
agent. Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, the only reason this person exists is to be a double agent. I'm like, here we go. And then now she's just...
Nope.
a
They
regular
couldn't even
person.
do the normal trope. They couldn't even
Yeah,
get
right.
there.
I wanted... Yeah, I was like, I'll at least allow that. But no.
What'd you love about this book? Let's get through this quickly.
Clocking someone? I think that's a cool way to say observed. She says clocking someone a bunch.
What? I didn't notice that one time.
Oh, really? Okay. It would be like he quickly looked over at the painting and I clocked that. I saw that. I noted that
Huh.
type thing. Yeah, I liked it.
I like the more colloquial form of clocking, which is punching somebody in the face.
Oh, okay. And I like the word colloquial. I don't know how to say that, but
What I loved was the ending, and not just because this fucking book was over with, but because
when the airplane blows up.
yeah, not because the airplane didn't blow up, unfortunately, but mostly because I think literally the last line is Bailey calling her mom, which I
Yeah.
threw the book at the wall and was like, oh my God. Like, I laughed out loud for a good 2 minutes. It was like, wow, we've gone this far. You know, we've really got it down. We boiled it down to this level of bullshit where she goes, okay, mom. Oh my God. It's like, shut the fuck up. You wouldn't call her mom. It doesn't matter. just end it. End this whole thing. How dare you? That's how you end your novel. You end your novel with the stepdaughter calling her stepmom mom. Come on. Be more of a fucking Disney Channel original movie.
Well, Hannah's whole existence is to please Bailey, which makes her an awful character, and then Bailey's an awful person. So they're like, you have two people that are terrible. That's your whole book is foundations on. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you like these? Like,
It's
you know,
true.
like that's even if it was an amazing story, you'd still hate those characters.
And I
right?
totally get there's, as someone who has a stepmother, has a sister, you know, there is a tough relationship between those people. I understand that, you know, but the point is, if someone's just an asshole to you over and over again, you don't just sit there and like keep trying to please them and be like, I'm doing my best. I totally understand her feelings. It's like, why do you? Like, she's just being rude and mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's different when you have those that tough relationship, but just to be outright rude and the dad kind of like pat her on the arm and be like, one day it'll be fine. Fuck him. Fuck her. Like, no. You treat people with respect. It's as simple as that.
100%. 100%.
We went to dinner. It's like, oh, we're going to go to this play in the park. And she's like, oh, do I have to? It's like, A, you love plays. She's obviously doing this for you. Totally get it. No big deal. Like, I get how that could be unfortunate. And she's like, no, you go with your dad. It's fine. Next time. And she's like, then me and Bailey really connected when she knew I was saying next time. It's like, no, she was happy she walked all over you. What?
Yeah.
You're sidewalk. You're cobblestones.
And I could also see being like, listen, I'm not going to ruffle feathers here with this Bailey girl. Like, obviously I want to develop a relationship. But when she starts being rude to other random people, that's where I draw the line. Stop being a fucking bitch. Like, seriously, I don't care if you shit on me, but don't do it to other people. You're just raising a bad human.
You're being mean to waiters and Bible people? Like, no. Right. That's not going to check for me. I do have a thing for people that are rude to service people. I fucking hate it. That's a big
I've never
no-no.
seen that before.
I haven't really seen it myself. I've seen someone snap at a waiter, and that bothered me. And I was like, yo, like, let's never do that again,
Yeah,
but
you don't want to be in that group.
But if it was a
happens.
child that was being rude to someone who's legitimately just serving them, Owen, who are you raising here? This is this daughter that you're going to protect? No wonder you're not actually protecting her, because good God. All right.
Yeah, I just never understood why. Once I find out Owen has just been lying to me this whole time, I give up the deuces to Bailey and say, see you later. I'm
1,000,000%.
See ya.
I'm outie 5.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck with everything. Peace. You should have been nicer to me earlier.
What did you have for hate?
Yeah. All right. Let me try to make this succinct as possible.
Try.
Manufacturing drama. That is literally the underline thing of this. From the ambiguous notes for no reason. Mm-hmm. There's no coded message in there. There's no reason he couldn't write a long note. There's zero reason.
Yep.
I didn't like the ambiguous notes in not Angels and Demons, but the other movie.
Da Vinci Code?
But at least there was some, story behind it, right?
Sure.
There's reason to be it. Whatever. But why? The fake cheating husband, she's like, oh, we invested all our money there. There was no reason for that story.
Yep.
Just none.
Nope,
Zero.
No reason.
The chapel discussion being 100 pages about having to convince someone.
Give them the list.
That was such a long no drama at all. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Just either tell them or don't. I don't care. Like, asking a professor or like tracking down or asking a question to a professor from a public university being Ocean's 11. What are we doing here? Why is this Ocean's 11? That you can sit in on any class at a public university, or you could get the attention of a teacher. He's not going to be an asshole for no reason. It doesn't make any sense why he was preventing them and creating drama. Zero sense. Entering Nicholas's house after she's been driven there, being like, I guess I got to enter here, and her having this inner dialogue about whether she should enter. You've already been there.
You were in the car for an hour trying to figure this one out.
Why are we having this discussion? I think I have a couple more. Oh, they're going down the list. They literally have the names that could be Owen. They have a full list, and then Bailey's like, no, I need to go to this bar right this instant because I remember it from some fucking memory that I had from 10 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. They leave instead of checking the list. It would take 30 minutes to find the name that they need, so they don't even need to go to the bar. But instead, they don't do that. Only for Bailey not to go into the bar. She forces them to leave the library from checking this stuff. And then Bailey doesn't even go to the bar, which doesn't make any sense. Why? What?
Protect her.
Why,
Protect
David?
Her. Protect
Why,
her.
David? Am I raising my voice? I can't even tell.
I think you're going to lose your voice.
And then breaking your phone. At that point, I literally looked around like I was being punked. Why are you breaking your phone? What?
No.
I don't get it. It didn't make any sense.
She's like, they're tracking me. It's like, where do you think they're tracking you to? The same place you are now. Why are you breaking your phone now?
I have a bunch more, but I'm going to let you say it.
Well, that was the rant of a lifetime. I'm just glad I'm here for it. That was the best reason for me to read this book. So thank you, really. My number one hate is, well, this is obvious, but Reese Witherspoon. I mean,
That's the clip.
The publisher must have offered her a bag to put this book on her list. Must have offered her a bag. I don't understand how this the publisher, Reese Witherspoon Book Club works, but it 100% has to have some greenbacks behind it. She sold out worse than Purdue Pharma does with with like a small rate Floridian pharmacist or something. You know, this is her version of selling OxyContin to the kids because
Jesus Christ.
This took years off my life, and all because she put her stamp of approval on it. I can assure you, Reese Witherspoon, a wonderful actress, a very smart and beautiful woman, loving mother, did not read this piece of shit book, because if she had, she would not have put it on us. But some publicist out there said, hey, we're going to get $15,000 for you to just put your stamp on it. She's like, yeah, fuck it, put the stamp on it. This is a horrible book. And if it wasn't for Reese Witherspoon, neither of us and thousands of other people out there wouldn't have had to read and waste their time on this book. I feel sorry for you, but I understand. That's as simple as that. Just kidding. Reese, I love all your work. This was my first dip into your book club books, and it will be my last because of how poor this decision was.
That's fair.
What else did you have for hate?
How does the Nicholas family know that Owen is missing? The whole reason he ran away is to prevent them from finding out that he's missing, and then...
Oh, I didn't catch that. They were like, oh, your husband's missing?
Yeah. Also, once you're going to trust Bailey's grandparents and do that meeting, why don't you just give the kid over to them? It's not your kid. They're related to her. You let them deal with her, right? Like, you've already determined that you trust
them. But Owen wants you to be...
Owen never fucking came back and reunited with her. He doesn't see her for the next 30 years, they say. So who the fuck cares?
Why would she want to form a relationship with her grandfather, who she knew was the reason why she couldn't see her dad? It's like, oh, your grandfather's keeping you from seeing your dad, and he's going to murder him if he sees him. Oh, hey, Grandpa. We're cool. Let's grab a snow cone.
That's a good point. But why is this Hannah's responsibility?
I feel like we're in this book where we're just saying questions. Did you notice how this book was just all in Hannah's head? Just asking questions to herself. I have actually, let me pull this up. I have a quote here from the book, a paragraph that I think sums up the book pretty well. How am I here again? On the phone with Jake. How is Jake the one who is helping me? When we ended our relationship, Jake said I'd always felt absent to him. I didn't argue with him. I couldn't, because I was a little absent. It had felt like something was missing with Jake, the very thing I thought had happened with Owen. But if Jake is correct about Owen, then Owen and I don't have what I thought we did. Maybe we didn't have anything close to it at all. It's verbal diarrhea. Absolute verbal diarrhea. That paragraph, makes no sense. I think it's a shame for women that this is how she thinks women think, because yikes. Just yikes.
How do you know what they think?
I don't. And I watch the Mel Gibson movie all the time. Just to see, just to see if I can learn anything from it.
Yeah,
I don't, but I would hope that no one thinks like this. Woman, man, turtle, fucking placebium. What is the little tiny creatures that are one cells? Whatever those are.
Sperm?
No, but yes, those are one cells. But are they one cells? I think so. But whatever the thing is. Plankton, maybe, I don't know what I'm thinking. But yikes, it was just that over 300 pages. So another thing I hated here was, I'll get to it, Owen. I didn't like Owen. Like you said,
my favorite character.
Like you said, if his daughter is his world and he would do anything for her, then why did he do the things he did? Why take the whole high profile job? Eventually it's going to come out. Why marry a woman who's high profile in her own line of work? There's connections there. Nothing made sense. Become a sheet metal fabricator in Iowa and just live your life with your daughter and be very happy. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
Shameful. Also, he grilled Hannah on their second date about the guys she's been with in the past. Talk about red flags. That's so creepy. Oh, who are the guys you've been with? How many guys have you been with? How were they? What? If that's not creepy enough, he told his 16-year-old daughter to use an encrypted app when she sends nudes. That's fucking
No,
gross.
sexy talk, not nudes. Come on, man.
What do you think sexy talk is? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, that was... I don't have a kids, so I was like, I don't know if people are doing that, but that's weird to me, 100%.
It's like, oh, hey, you know what? Don't ever send a nude to somebody, all right? Don't ever have sexy talk. You're 16, for Christ's sake.
It was a nice plug for a Signal.
Is that a real brand?
I think it is. Let me see.
Okay. Well, also, I'll get to my next hate while you're looking that up. The logic of the whole thing. I mean, we've kind of discussed this, but the mafia doesn't fuck with families, so why does Hannah need to broker a deal for her and Bailey's safety? They're not after her and Bailey. They're after Owen. They're not going to kill them. So why broker a deal? It's like, okay, the end of this deal is me and Bailey are safe. It's like, you would have been safe anyways. Makes no sense. Also, when they're looking for this wedding, this wedding that's going to lead them on this quest, this national treasure, Da Vinci Code type wedding they've been searching for, they keep saying, oh no, it couldn't have been 2007. Why? Because Bailey would have been too young to remember. Okay, so what year was it? 2008. How do you know the memory of a child between a year? And then Hannah says it, and I was like, okay, that was stupid. And then Bailey says it after. She's like, no, it couldn't have been 2007 because I couldn't have remembered then. It's like, that's not how memory works. It's not like 1 year it's on and 1 year it's off. It's like at the age of 10, you now remember everything. But 9, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. That's all I had for hate, and I think I've got it out.
I had one lingering question. What was Owen's plan if he didn't get married and wasn't able to pawn Bailey off on Hannah? And why didn't he just revert to that plan once this happened?
Yeah. Well,
what was his plan?
I think you put her in a bag and throw her in a river, right?
No, he didn't want her. I think we found the real story of this book is Owen fucking hated Bailey, realized he was a garbage human, probably caused the scam to happen at this company so that he could have an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, what a good guy. So he comes off smelling like roses somehow, and then he doesn't have to deal with Bailey. Great.
Yeah.
Win.
What's
win,
Owen doing right now on the lam? You know, what's his life on the lam? He's probably having the best time of his life. Let's get to listener mail. What do you got?
You've got mail.
Oh, thank you, all listeners. And hey, I really do. I apologize for this episode. It's cathartic. I get it. If you didn't enjoy it, I totally get that too. You know, it's just two guys being angry. So thanks to all listeners for asking questions and calling in.
All right. This one's from Ellie from San Diego.
Great name. Give me your number.
Yeah. Per usual, the kids suck. I think we might have talked about that a little bit.
We gathered.
I don't know if we touched on that yet. Where's the murder? How can someone claim this is a thriller? Wow, this sounds kind of like me.
Yeah,
this is a thriller. Or a summer read when there isn't some kind of violent death. Great question. Great. I have actually read a lot of, I would say, summer books in this vein. So, like, Then She Was Gone was very popular. The Guest List.
Hunting Party. We read The Hunting Party.
Hunting Party. I've read a few other ones that are female centric. Oh, Girl on the Train I really, really liked. With mystery and thriller, and there's always some sort of, dark shit going on.
The fact that this book is a quote-unquote mystery thriller, a complete abomination to all mysteries and thrillers out there. There's literally no mystery, and if there's no mystery, there's even less of a thriller. I was so unthrilled reading this book that I was watching the Olympics at the same time, and I was watching a 1,500 meter run and being 10 times more enthralled than reading this book. I had to put the book down to finish watching a 1,500 meter run. So if you're asking where the summer beach read comes in to this particular book, it has to be a summer Olympic, and it has to be the most boring sport. It has to be fencing. It has to be the 8,000 meter. Whatever you need to have the most boring thing on in the background, reading this book makes that event that much better. So how this is a summer beach read has to be an Olympic. Watch some boring sports. The Olympics will become the most interesting part of your day.
Right before we did this, you said, I don't want to trash it too much. And here we are. And here we are.
You got my blood up. You got my fucking blood up. It's your fault. You started with that like 20-minute rant, whatever that was, but it was so good, and I just got angry.
I do these rants for books I don't even like, though. So usually keep it tempered. So,
I know. If it affected me, you know it really sucked.
Yeah.
Truthfully, my goal throughout this whole podcast is to ensure that no one reads this book. No one. I told a friend, I said, my goal in life after reading this book is going to be to quit my job and to go to every single library and bookstore and take all of these copies off the shelf and steal them.
Book burning?
And steal them.
He's supporting book burning.
Yes, I am supporting book burning for this particular book. Yeah, we can cast the movie. So Reese Witherspoon is co-producing a movie for Apple TV starring Julia Roberts. Laura Dave is writing the screenplay, boo, with the assist from her husband, Josh Singer, who actually won an Academy Award for writing Spotlight, which is a phenomenal movie. So, this movie, who do you like in it?
Owen Wilson. So, I just keep on saying Owen Wilson. So, Hannah, Reese Witherspoon. So, I'm making her suffer the fate
starring in it.
No. I'm making her suffer the fate of playing Hannah because she made us read this, so she's playing it.
The only character I have is Bailey.
What do you got?
The eldest daughter from Mrs. Doubtfire. Because it's pretty much the same character. What? You don't remember her?
No.
Oh my God. You should watch Mrs. Doubtfire and you'll be like, oh, I get it. I know who Bailey is.
I had the daughter from Californication. I don't know if you've seen that show. She's the worst.
Actually, no, that's not who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the daughter from the guy from Band of Brothers. It's got Claire Danes in it. Homeland. Yes, the daughter from Homeland. Would you recommend this book? I can't believe we talked this long about this book. I'm so sorry.
Not cracking the top 10 for me. This is a pass for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is a hard pass.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's definitely the worst book we've read on the pod, and I'm sorry. I hope no one listened to the last 5 minutes last week when we told you we were going to listen to this one because I feel bad. We won't do this again. I promise you. We will not. You live and you learn.
We'll be better.
We'll be better. But let's get to more positive notes. We're going to stick with a mystery thriller, but we're going to stick with something that's good. Let's get back to Jerry Rice. All right. I don't need Ogletree in here or whoever some random wide receiver is. What do you got? What do we got for next time?
And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
It's about a bunch of people that go like somewhere, and I didn't want to read too much because I don't like that, So, but like people die one after one. And again, listeners, thanks for tagging along. If you read the book, I really hope this was a cathartic experience for you as well as it was for us. If you have any notes on this book, please let us know. We will definitely talk back to you, but we're probably going to try to close this chapter of our lives.
All right, until next time.
Next time. Great talk to you. Take care.